All right. So, whoops, there we go. Welcome everybody to tonight's webinar. My name is Michelle Burke. We are going to start our webinar here right away. Today, what we're going to talk about is, are you ready to be a dog owner? So we'll see. We'll see what you think about at the end of this. So we'll just get started. Welcome for everybody that's joined us here tonight. First of all, I would like to send a big shout out to Hitch and Stitch. They are the ones that are doing all my nice shirts with all my logos, the hats. They have all kinds of things that they can embroider. They can definitely improve your business logos and help you getting your name out there and branding your company. Also, I would like to say a big thank you to Megan at Hello Life Academy. She has been the brain behind setting up all these webinars for me. Without her, I wouldn't be able to do this because I am not that computer savvy. I would rather work with dogs. So anyways, we're going to get started tonight. As I'm having a little puppy, come here, that is chewing on my hand today. This is Wilson, and he is 8 weeks old, and he is here in training to learn some basic behavior. Anyways, we're not talking about him tonight, even though he'll probably be sitting here on and off. But what we're going to talk about tonight is, are you ready to be a dog owner? How do you go about finding a dog? Where do you go looking for a dog? What breed of dog will you get? And what is involved in having a dog? It's not just getting a dog and then just kind of seeing how things go. A dog is a long-term commitment. We really want to make sure and emphasize that a dog can live 10 to 15 years. So, you know, when you get that dog, make sure that it is there for a lifetime. It is supposed to be a part of your family. I really encourage that you really do your homework, really look into what type of a dog that you get. Many people get the wrong type of dog, and he's just either too much for your lifestyle. It's got too much energy. You didn't really want to have a dog that you have to go and take part in agility classes and stuff all the time. But that is what we're talking about tonight. So what we're going to start about with first is, what breed of dog do you get? How do you determine what kind of a breed you want to get? There's so many different breeds out there, and you know, how do you figure out what you want? Don't just go by looks. You know, don't say, oh, well, I saw a border collie and it's so cute, but you don't really like to be outdoors and you don't like to, you know, do a lot of stuff, and then your border collie is going to drive you crazy. So the best place to go to is go to a dog park. Go somewhere where there's lots of different breeds of dogs. You know, maybe go to some breeders and have a look at, you know, what dogs that are available. Talk to people on the street and ask them for, you know, their story on the dog that they're out there walking and what they can tell you about the temperament or the energy of that dog. And, you know, that way you can kind of find out what types of dogs are out there and what's involved. There's a lot of different breeds of dogs, and every dog has its own you know, time frame that you're going to need with them. There, you got to decide if you want a short-haired dog or a, you know, long-haired dog, or a dog that's non-shedding. You know, all those kind of things, they all factor in with picking that dog. What you want to also look at is, what is your lifestyle like? Are you the kind of, you know, person or family that loves to be outdoors? You go hiking, biking, you go swimming, you know, you're doing stuff out there. Or are you the kind of family that really enjoys sitting at home and playing board games and watching movies, and, you know, you kind of like to stay indoors? Because that will really determine on what breed dog you should look at. If you're a very active person, you know, you can get a more high energy dog. If you're looking for a dog that just, you know, kind of, you know, has to go for a walk once or twice a day and just kind of hangs out with you, then, you know, you can get a dog that has a lower energy level, so you kind of get along and you don't, you know, drive each other crazy kind of thing. The other thing too is, you want to look at how much grooming does a dog need. Common misconception is that a short-haired dog does not shed. Short-haired dogs actually shed a lot. You just have shorter hair instead of longer hair. It gets really stuck in places. They need the same amount of grooming. It's really a good idea to, brush a short-haired dog on a regular basis, give them a bath, use a blow dryer to blow out hair. But they don't need any clipping. So they don't need any heavy duty brushing or dematting or anything like that. So that definitely makes a difference. Do you want a dog that's hypoallergenic, that, if you have allergies in the family, will you need a dog that you're not going to react to? So those are type of dogs, generally like Bichons, anything that is crossed with doodles, if they're kind of a multi-generation doodle, they definitely shed a lot less. They're not 100% non-shedding, so they will all shed a little bit. But, with allergies, you want to look into that. The non-shedding dogs need lots of professional grooming. So you have to, have your dog groomed every 8 to 10 weeks. To keep the coat nice and from matting and tangling and things like that. And then if it just grows too long, of course, it becomes a lot more labor intensive. The size of dog will really matter when you're looking to, or do you want just a small dog that's easier to handle? Do you want a medium-sized dog? If there's large breed dogs, some of the very large breed dogs are very mellow, so they don't actually need a lot of exercise. So, those kind of things. Coming back to coats, there's also like double coated dogs that, border collies, Great Pyrenees, Huskies, they have a double coat, so they will shed a lot, about twice a year, when they're shedding out that undercoat and blowing out that woolly type of coat, and then they just leave the covered hair. So, they are going to require a lot of grooming at least twice a year, and in between of that, of course, as well. So, those are the kind of things that you want to consider when you're getting a dog. The other thing is, where do you start looking for a dog? Everybody's out there walking dogs, and they all got them from different places. First of all, you can try a breeder. So you kind of decide on what breed dog you would maybe be interested in, and contact the breeder and see if you can go for a visit and see, what the parents are like. What is their energy like? A breeder can tell you the standard of that particular breed, how big they're generally going to be, what their energy level is like, what kind of, grooming needs they will have. So a breeder can give you a lot of information about those kind of things. They will also, have a health guarantee for their dogs. If you get a puppy from them, they usually have a 1-year health guarantee. So if there's something wrong, they will help you with that puppy, or they might even, take the puppy back and those kind of things. So, the breeders are definitely, most of them are really conscientious about how they're breeding and breeding really good quality dogs. A breeder will always take their dogs for health testing too. So only healthy, good dogs will be bred in their breeding program. They take health tests for knees and hips and eyes. Some other, tests that are out there. So you have a bit more of a guarantee of what you're getting into. There's lots of rescues out there that have many, many dogs in their rescues. Sometimes the rescues have them in foster homes. So the dog is actually living with the family, and they can evaluate how the dog is behavior-wise. You can really get any kind of dog out of a shelter. Some of them are mixed breeds. So if it's a puppy, you don't exactly know what size the dog will be. It can be kind of a guess, but sometimes it can be a bit of a surprise. Of course, there's not usually any health testing done, because some of the dogs come from who knows where kind of thing. But there's lots of good dogs at rescues. They're not bad dogs. Like, some of them have just not worked out with their families, and some of them have been, pulled off of reserves or things like that. So there's lots of good dogs out there. And if you're not wanting to get an adult dog, a lot of rescues have puppies as well. And then there's a lot of adult dogs that are looking for a good home. And, some of them have just, like, maybe the owners have passed away, or the life situation of the owners has changed. So now the dog is looking for a new home and has been surrendered to a rescue, and in hopes to find a good, loving home. There's lots of benefits to an older dog too. You don't have to crate train. There's a lot of training has already been done. They're not wrecking stuff anymore. There's some senior dogs out there that are in desperate need to just, find a loving home for the last years of their life, and they deserve to be loved and taken care of. So, go to your local rescues. There's lots of them out there. If you Google or dog rescues, there's pages and pages of them. Depending on where you live, go and have a look, talk to them. Most rescues will help you find a dog that's suitable for you as well. Some rescues offer training, so when you actually have chosen the dog, that you can go back for training, and they offer obedience classes to help you and your dog bond. You can go on the internet. You can look in, I guess papers are kind of not the thing anymore, but on the internet you can find lots of, dogs as well. With that, just be careful, because there is a lot of dogs out there that, people haven't done any health testing on. It's just been a neighbor's dog that bred that dog, and now there's puppies, and, there's puppy mills out there that are just breeding for quantity, not quality. So they're just pumping out puppies just to sell them. And some of them have really significant health issues. So you want to make really sure that, you're not getting a dog that's going to cost you a lot of money down the road. And really stay away from those puppy mills that are just pumping out puppies just for the money. They don't care about the quality. So, if you're going to somebody's place, ask if you can see the parents. And if there's all kinds of little pups running around, well, they came from somewhere, and you want to be careful. I've had clients that have gotten a cute, fluffy little puppy, and they just had one heartache after the other and a lot of vet bills. So, just make really sure you do your homework on the breeder or the seller of the puppy that you're interested in getting, and ask lots of questions. Ask if they can, give you some references of people that have bought puppies from them before. Ask about the dogs, like where, what breed dog they are, if they've had health testing, have they had their first set of vaccinations, do they come with a vet record, a health record when you get them. Most puppies should have been vet checked before they're even up for sale. Make sure the puppy's old enough. Like sometimes we see puppies out there, they're only 5 or 6 weeks old, and that's awfully young for a pup. A pup should be with their mom for 8 to 10 weeks to get all that socializing with its siblings and get all the manners taught by its mom. And when they're taken away from their mom really early, that can cause some behavior issues as well. And so just make sure that you're asking lots of questions wherever you're looking at that puppy, and don't buy a pup on the spur of the moment. Do your homework, go around, talk to people that have, puppies for sale, and, just see the feeling that you get. Make sure wherever the puppy's coming from, it comes from a clean environment. It's just not somewhere in a back room where it smells bad and, they're walking around in their own feces and things like that. So, the living conditions of a puppy can make a big difference in the puppy's development too. So, those are really, really important parts of, picking a puppy as well. Then, of course, comes the big question, are you looking for a puppy, like this little guy, or are you looking for an adult dog that, has already been in a home, and maybe there is a few behavior issues, but they're not all bad. And even an older dog can still be trained to, become a better dog if there's some minor behavior issues. Um, a, an adult dog has a lot of benefits. A puppy is a lot of work. So, an adult dog could potentially come straight from a rescue, or even some breeders have retired breeding dogs that could come into your home and, just live with you, and pretty much be ready to just be part of your life. And you're not going to get up in the middle of the night. You don't have to potty train. You don't have to worry about nipping. You don't have to worry about, a lot of just puppy behavior. And puppy behavior can become tiring sometimes. Then, of course, everybody wants a puppy. All puppies are cute, but puppies are a lot of work. So if you're getting a puppy, you got to be prepared to get up at night for the first probably couple of weeks to get up with your puppy, because it's going to have to go out to the bathroom in the middle of the night. The puppy is a clean slate. Everything that the puppy does, you have to teach them. And so there's a lot of training involved. And the first 16 weeks of a puppy's life is what really shapes the dog, or shapes the puppy to the dog that it's going to become. So the first 16 weeks, and even a little past that, still, it's going to be a lot of work. You're going to have to do a lot of training. You have to teach that puppy all the rules that you are expecting from him. So rules like jumping up, rules like what he can chew on, where the puppy can be, how to walk on a leash, how to be social with people and other dogs. There's a lot involved. And so when you're thinking about getting a dog, you're looking at 2 to 3 hours a day spent with just your dog. Not like, even like spending time with the family and the dog. So when you're getting that dog, you have to spend time feeding, you got to spend time grooming, you got to spend time training, you got to take that dog for 2 to 3 walks every day. I'm going to put this little monkey down. Are you going to go play? So there's a lot of time involved in a dog, and just because it's minus 20 outside, or it's raining and snowing and blizzarding, that dog still has to go outside. So, they're not just fair weather walkers. They still have to get out and get exercise, and you may not even feel like going, but it's going to feel so good when you come back. So a dog is a lot of work and is a long time commitment. So when you're thinking about getting that dog, really ask yourself, how much time do you actually have for him? Can you make him happy? Can you make him fulfilled? Can you make him, a good part of your family? The more you take your dog wherever you go, the better a dog you're going to have. So they need to be socialized with people so you can be proud to take them places. If your dog has really poor behavior, you're never going to take him anywhere into public. And so your dog's just going to end up, sitting in a crate or sitting in a room or at home all by himself. And that's not fair. That will also create a lot of problems like barking and chewing and things like that. And, next thing you know, you're just not going to want him around anymore. So yeah, be really, thoughtful about that, and make sure that this is really a fit. Right now, of course, we're we've gone through this pandemic, and I want to really, really stress that, right now you have a lot of time on your hands. You're home, you can't really go anywhere. Don't get a dog because you're bored right now. Come, fall, life is going to get back to normal. Kids are back in school. You're back at work. You've got hobbies. You've got sports. The kids have activities. You still have time for that dog, that 2 to 3 hours a day. Are you still going to have time to spend that with your dog besides all the other activities that you have? If you're hesitating there, then don't get a dog. Don't put that dog on the sidelines and make him just sit and wait for you all the time. So really be sure that you really are prepared for the long time commitment and time commitment of owning a dog. Um, it's really important that you take your dog out as much as you can. So there's a lot of stores that allow you to take dogs into where you can go and practice, no matter if it's a puppy or an older dog. Go walking, go past parks, go past playgrounds and see how your dog reacts. And if you need help, if you have an older dog or even a puppy, there's lots of trainers out there that can help you with, getting a better handle on a dog's behavior. If the dog is dragging you around on a leash, ask for help. The more trained or the better trained your dog is going to be, the more fun you're going to have with him and the more you're going to enjoy being out there. And there's nothing more fun than being out for a walk with your dog and having somebody ask you, can I pet your dog? And he's really well behaved and people will notice. When your dog is doing the Superman thing at the end of the leash and it's barking and, nobody wants to pet a dog like that. So, make sure your dog has good manners and make sure that, you're prepared to spend time training. If you've chosen what? If you've chosen a dog that is, high energy, then you might want to, look into getting into a sport, like a dog sport. So, there is like agility classes where there's like hurdles and tunnels and jumps and things like that. You may want to get into a nose work class where the dog is using their nose. You could get into herding, sheep herding. There's like dock diving. There's lots and lots of activities to get into with a high energy dog. And also with a high energy dog, you're going to have to really go out there and burn some energy with them. Like go out walking 3 times a day and not just around the block. You're probably going to have to go out for half an hour every time and really, get that dog walking and running and then also, doing training, doing brain work, which is like basic obedience or tricks or looking for things. So that is all something that really takes a lot of time. And if you're getting that high energy dog, you really want to look into that kind of stuff because he's going to get bored at home and he's going to get destructive or get bad habits and they can get into really weird habits if they're bored. So make sure you do something like that. If you have kids, there's 4-H clubs out there that do training with dogs, the canine 4-H clubs that are around all over the place that you can have your kids join in and have your family involved. So when you're taking a training class, see if you can take your kids with you or your whole family so everybody's on the same page with the training. Sign up for basic obedience. Like that is a really good way to bond. Even if you get an older dog that is already partially trained or fully trained, sign up for obedience classes because it really bonds you and the dog and you get a better relationship. And if there's something that might have been missed during the training, then you have an instructor, a trainer there that can help you with those kind of things. And you want to make sure that, you do things right and you have that well-behaved dog. Before you get a dog, you also want to look into like professional services. Like what are you going to need when you get this dog? So for example, one of the most important things is a veterinarian. You want to make sure that you have a veterinarian that will do regular just like checkups and vaccinations, things like that. But you also want to make sure that you have a veterinarian on call. So if your dog has an accident and you really need to, call somebody in an emergency situation, have that on hand and make sure that your dog has already seen a veterinarian. So there's a record of your dog for the vet to look at when you get there. You can, of course, have just your regular veterinarian that will do basic checkups and things like that. But if they're not open 24 hours, you want to make sure if there's an animal hospital close to you that is open 24 hours a day. The other thing is, look into trainers. If you're going to have problems, if you have a puppy, you're probably going to need help at one point or the other. If you have an older dog, there might be things that you want to work on with your dog as well. So look into trainers in your area. Some trainers offer one-on-one classes where they will come to your home and work with you and your dog. And then there's lots of trainers out there that offer group classes where you can go and learn just basic obedience. You can work with your dog on more advanced obedience or games, things like that. So that's really important. If you're working part-time, you might need a dog walker, somebody that comes in halfway through the day to take your dog out for a walk and make sure he can go to the bathroom and get a little bit of exercise so he's not home for 8 or 10 hours a day. If you don't feel comfortable or you don't want to get a dog walker, there's doggy daycares where you can drop off your dog and he can play for the day and have fun and be in a controlled environment with somebody that's going to look after him while you're at work. And then when you go and get him at the end of the day, you take him home and you have a nice tired dog. So you can sit on the couch and just watch a movie or just relax with your pup and cuddle. If you don't take your dog anywhere and he's just going to be sitting there for 8 or 10 hours, you're going to be the one that has to take him out for a walk, get him exercise, do those kind of things. And I mean, for most of us, that's what we want to do, but sometimes our schedules just don't allow for, being able to get home or, things like that. So yeah, doggy daycare might be very important for you. If you're getting a dog that needs regular grooming, you're going to want to look for a professional groomer. So you want to make sure that you see who's in your area, what's easy to access, find somebody that you're comfortable with. If you walk in somewhere, no matter what the professional is that you're looking for and you don't feel comfortable, then don't leave your dog there. Most likely the dog's not going to like it there either. So make sure you feel comfortable and ask lots of questions, ask to see the facility, make sure that, you can look around and, if there's a whole bunch of, stressed out dogs somewhere, well, maybe that's not the place to take. So everybody has their own setup and everybody has their own ways of doing things. And so there's lots and lots to choose from out there. So go have a look around. Probably even before you get your dog, go check out these kind of things just to make sure that, you're comfortable with it and you're ready. So when you do get that dog, you have all these things all lined up and you're ready to go. You can find house sitters that will come to your home if you go on holidays. So they will come to your house, look after your dog, or if you have other pets, they will look after them as well. You might want to look for a kennel. So if there's somewhere, if you're going on a holiday and you want to go away for a couple of weeks, go look for a kennel where your dog's going to be comfortable and the kennel can offer the suitable environment for your dog. So there's lots of different setups. Some of them are more open concept where the dogs are out playing in groups and stuff. There's lots of kennels that have places where your dog is kind of by itself. They have a doggy door to go in and out. So there's lots of different setups. And again, there's all these different types. So you just have to go out and find the one that you feel comfortable in and that you like and that you think your dog will be happy in as well. There is places that offer pack walks for your dogs. So they take their dogs on walks throughout the day while you're at work. So, that's another thing. If you have a high energy dog, you're definitely going to want to look into that. So he burns some extra energy and gets out there. Make sure that you really think about, the dog and your life situation. If you're renting somewhere, you got to make sure that you're allowed to have a dog, that it's okay for you to have a pet in the building that you're in. So don't just go get a dog and then all of a sudden you're going to have to move. If you're just looking for something to do and you're not sure that the commitment is really there, you can also volunteer. There's lots of kennels. There is rescues that are always looking for volunteers for people to take their dogs for walks so they're not locked in a pen all day long. And so, if you don't feel like you're really ready for that dog, go get some experience and go volunteer somewhere with dogs and see what it's like, see if you even like it. Or if you have a friend that has a dog and maybe they're going on holidays and or going away from a weekend, see if you can borrow that dog and just see what it's like to actually be a dog owner and be responsible. I mean, they give you so much, and I can't imagine a life without a dog. But you also have to think about the work that goes into it. It's not always glorious. Dogs, you're going to have to go poo picking. You have to clean up your yard after the dog. There's going to be times where your dog is not feeling good. So there's going to be vomit. They might have diarrhea. There's going to be a cleanup. You can't just, give them away because all of a sudden there's a lot of work. So really give it a lot of thought before you get into this, the dog or the puppy, and make sure you're ready, make sure you have the time for them, and give your dog a good life. Another thing is, what do you feed your dog? There's so many dog foods out there. There's kibble, there's raw, there's dehydrated, frozen. There's so many different things out there. Go to your pet store and talk to your nutrition specialist and see what they recommend for your breed or your type or your age of dog that you got. See what you're comfortable with. Are you okay handling raw meats for your dog, and these like thawing meat the day before, or will your dog eat frozen food? Would you rather just have kibble? See what kind of qualities kibble there is. There's tons and tons of different brands out there, and lots of different price ranges too. So look into the food aspect too. You're going to need, supplies. You're going to need leashes and collars and beds and toys, and look where you're going to find that kind of stuff. There's pet stores around. Go in there, talk to the staff, see if they can help you with what you're looking for. Get some information from them. They're always very helpful. What else is there? Pet insurance. You have to think about if your dog or your puppy has an accident and you take them to the vet and it's going to cost $2,000. Do you have that sitting there? Can you, do right by your dog and say, yes, go ahead and do this surgery, or yes, we gotta, run a bunch of tests and things like that? Or do you want to get pet insurance? There's lots of companies out there as well for pet insurance. Do your homework. They vary in price. What usually happens is like your premium will be a certain price, but if you like lower or heighten your deductible, then the price really varies. Sometimes it really varies on where you live, where your next closest vet is. Sometimes it's cheaper to get pet insurance if you're using a country vet compared to a city veterinarian. So those are all kind of things you want to look into. So there's a lot of things that go into, getting a puppy and, making sure, or a dog, like just in general. So no matter if it's a puppy or an adult dog. So you want to make sure that you're ready for all of these kind of things. Educate yourself on training. What does it take? Like, what kind of things do you need to teach the dog? What is important for the dog? And get ready for that. So I hope that helps. I'm just going to check here and see what kind of questions that we have. So I think this is going to freeze the screen, but just bear with me. Okay. So one of the questions is, if I already have a dog, when do I decide to get a second dog? So if you have a dog already and you feel that you want a second dog, do it for the right reasons. Make sure your first dog is already fully trained. Have the dog trained to where you want it. Don't get a dog because your existing dog has bad habits. He barks, he wrecks stuff, he's terrible on a leash, so he just needs a friend to burn energy with. If you're going to introduce a puppy into your kind of household where you have a dog that is poorly behaved, the chances that the puppy is going to get poorly behaved as well is very big. So what you're going to end up is you're going to have double trouble. So make sure that your dog is fully trained where you want it. Make sure he's not a puppy still. So, I would say 2 to 3 years old before you get your second dog, and make sure that you're new puppy will be introduced properly to your existing dog. Um, the other question was like, should I get two dogs out of the same litter? Not a good idea. Getting siblings is usually not a good idea. They really bond with each other, and a lot of times they don't bond the same with their owners. So because they always have each other. So what you need to do in the early days if you do get siblings, if that's what you want to do, and a lot of times it's like you go and get that puppy and there's one puppy left and you just don't have the heart to leave it behind because you're not sure it's going to have a good home. That's not a good idea. That's not a good reason to get two puppies. So if you do get two puppies though, it's not that you can't do it, but it's a lot of work. So what you need to do is you need to do a lot of things separate. So they can play together, but you need to go on separate walks. You need to feed them separately. You need to train them separately. You need to make sure that you can bond with each of the dogs and get a good relationship going. Getting siblings is generally not a good idea. It really isn't. I have seen very few situations where it really worked out, and the only reason it did is because people put a lot of time into them. So the first 6 to 8 months are a lot of work because you've got to do things separately with these dogs so they don't just rely on each other, and they don't just do things because they have each other. So for example, recall, if the dog doesn't want to come to you, well, the other dog's going to run off too. So you got to make sure that they will come to you individually, not just together. So that was one of the other questions out there as well. So yeah, just kind of think about that. Don't feel bad that there's one puppy left or that you're just, feeling sorry and you get siblings, because that can really backfire sometimes. So it looks like that's all the questions there is for tonight. If you have any other questions, you can contact me anytime at livingprairiekennels@gmail.com, and you can send me an email and I will be more than happy to help you if you have any questions in regards to just doing, like what to do or where do I look, or if you have questions in how to set up your house before the dog or the puppy comes home, I can certainly help that. I do offer phone consultations, so you can call me if we need to discuss certain things. I'd be more than happy to help you. I'm always here. I really try to work for the dog, make sure the dog is happy and the dog has a fulfilled life. If you're interested in following on the next webinar, that is going to be on July 14th, so next Tuesday night at 7 o'clock, and we're going to talk about crate training, potty training, and socializing. So this is basically, if you've got a puppy, this is what you want to join us and find out how to do that. I here at Living Prairie Kennels, I also do offer a puppy boot camp. So that means that puppy comes here for a certain amount of time, sometimes a week or two, and I start the puppy for you. So I do crate training, socializing, potty training. We can add on basic obedience, leash walking, traveling, grooming. I get your puppy started for you. This works really good sometimes for first-time puppy owners. You don't have to go through the sleepless nights. I will do that for you. And I will get the puppy off to a good start. And then when the puppy is ready to come home, I will teach you what I taught the puppy. So there's a smooth transition that you're speaking the same language, and that you can get that puppy home and it's going to be just a little easier on you. We also offer puppy training for any pups under 6 months old if you have any problems with your puppy. So if the puppy does excessive nipping, if there's problems with leash walking, we can help you with correcting those kind of situations. And same thing, we do the puppy boot camp, so they stay here with us. They have a completely separate area from the regular kennel, so if they're not up to date on their vaccinations, we can also keep them safe from getting any disease or anything, and so we keep them completely separate from the other dogs that are in the kennel. And recently we just published the puppy training guide, which is just full of good ideas for your dog for training and for brain work. It has a novice section, it has an advanced section, and then it has novice, intermediate, and advanced section. It helps you with hand signals, and it is just packed with good information to help you train your puppy and make a good citizen out of your puppy. So if you have any other questions, please feel free to contact me anytime at livingprairiekennels@gmail.com. You can go to our website at livingprairiekennels.com to check out our website on pricing or services that we offer. And let us know if you need any help at all. We're here for you, and we'd be happy to help. Have a great night, and I hope to see you on July 14th for our next webinar. Until then, have fun with your dogs and take care. Bye.